Hello. Okay, so I'm going to read the next part in the Wild Appaloosa book. And when we read the last chapter, we were talking about the horses and how they all lived around outside the mountain and had spent many, many years hiding from all the humans who were always trying to hunt them and round them up and make them into domesticated horses or even kill them, send them off to the factory. So when we last saw our horses, they were trying to figure out what that sound was in the sky. And if you remember, we talked about how it was an airplane. And so here's that little airplane flying up in the sky that they could see, and it made them nervous, and they're like, what's going on? So let's see what the next chapter brings us. On a ranch across the river, miles from the Wild Horse Range, a man named Torwall and a boy called Bert were fixing a fence when the boy spoke up. "Look," he said, "there's an airplane circling around again, over there, towards the west." "He's helping the fellows trying to clean that band of wild horses out of the Badlands," Torwall said. "The horses aren't really worth much, but they say there's a really pretty Appaloosa filly running with them that should be worth a lot of money if they could catch her." Look at, here's Torwall and Bert, the man and the boy. "I'd like to catch me a wild horse and tame it," Bert remarked. "An Appaloosa would look real nice with my new saddle." "Maybe so," Torwall said, "but you'd have to catch her first, and those fellas don't seem to be having much luck so far." "Those horses have been running back in the Badlands for years," he went on. "They're wild as deer and know every getaway path and canyon. That's why the horse hunters brought in the man with the airplane to help find them." "Well," Bert said, "I bet if I had that wild Appaloosa around for a while, I could tame her myself." "Maybe so," Torwall agreed, "but I doubt you'll ever get a chance. Now let's finish fixing this fence." Bert said no more, but all morning as they stretched barbed wire and reset the fence posts, he thought about somehow catching that Appaloosa and taming it all for himself. When the horse hunters had first gone into the Badlands, they thought that it would be an easy matter to locate the small band of wild horses and help trap them in one of the many steep-walled box canyons that are common in that country. But they soon discovered that, as Torwall had told the boy, the horses were wild as deer. They also had found that the broken country with its steep ridges and winding canyons, it was impossible for men on horseback to go directly from one place to another. They did occasionally catch sight of the wild horses in the distance, but to get near them the men had to ride by long roundabout ways through one crooked canyon after another. Sometimes they found their way blocked by a ridge too steep to climb, or rode deep into a box canyon with no way out except to go back the way they'd come. And always, by the time they found their way to where the horses had been, the entire band would have disappeared. It was a frustrating game of hide and seek, and the advantage was all with the horses. But through their field glasses they had gotten a glimpse or two of the Appaloosa they wanted so badly to catch. So they called in the man with the airplane to help them. Circling high over the Badlands, he had no trouble finding them. However, he always found them close to escape routes that led off in directions all over. So there was nothing for the horse hunters to do but wait until the wild band was found near some natural trap. Here's the horsemen climbing up the mountain, looking for the wild band of horses. Up and down they go. Then late one afternoon, from far off, the man in the airplane saw the horses grazing in a little valley surrounded on three sides by high cliffs. There were only two ways to get out of the place. Stock paths ran up and over the ridges at the valley's head where the cliffs ended, and at the lower end a narrow, steep-walled canyon led down to the rough country below, very mountainous in the desert out west in the USA. The horses had already been to water and seemed to be settling down for the night in what appeared to be a perfect trap. Turning back before the sound of his engine could reach them, the man carried the news to the waiting riders, and they set about making plans for the next day. Before daylight, the riders would be in place to block the mouth of the canyon at the bottom of the valley, and as soon as the sun was up, The airplane would fly low to spook the horses away from the path leading out at the top and drive them down the high, unclimbable cliff. Oh, well, we'll stop there. We're going to have to find out for the next time what happens.